Hi, this is Mari with XDynamics. We're out here at the marshes in Florida, and we're going to be doing some camera tests today. We have a new firmware for our ProRes codec, and it's going to improve even further the shadow performance and what the noise looks like in the shadows. So during the day, I'm going to fly over the marsh. We're going to look where the water meets the grass and see what the shadows are doing over there during the day. And then we're going to look at some night footage. And while we're looking at the night footage, it's also going to reveal why we chose that 12 megapixel sensor. It's going to make more sense when you see that footage. So let's jump in the cockpit and take a look.
So here's our first shot. I'm framed up here over the marsh. This is the 17 millimeter lens that comes with the Evolve 2. And I'm paying attention as I push through here on the left-hand side of the screen in the shadows there, making sure there's no noise patterns, no movement in the shadows. The color cast you're seeing here is straight out of the camera. There's no tuning, so it is a little desaturated. We do that on purpose so that you can tune your own image. And we push through. There's a heron flying there. And that's looking pretty good. We're going to look at this on a few different lenses. Let's move to the 25. So here's that same shot with the 25 millimeter lens. You'll notice that the angle and focal length and probably this cloud moving in fills up the center, and it changes the way the image looks. So that's something to consider when you're filming, kind of getting that reflection. When we had all the blue, it was a different look. We'll look at them all together after we push through. Still paying attention to those shadows and making sure that the noise patterns are not there. And finally, our 45 millimeter lens. This is definitely a nicer look, I think. The telephoto really kind of compresses the image in a way that looks, I think, more cinematic. I prefer the 25 and the 45 for those type of shots, but here we're pushing through, and yeah, the shadows are looking good. All three of these images have a neutral color cast, and we do that so that you can tune it in post, and we'll see that with the night vision stuff here in just a minute. And this is looking good, so I'm happy with that. Let's take a look at all three of these together. So here, this really illustrates the difference between the focal lengths, but also, where the clouds are and your angle. So as we look at all three of these images, you can really tell that positions of the clouds, the angle of the reflection on the water can play a big role in how your image looks. You might want that bright reflection, or you might kind of want a darker look. Now, I was 173 feet in elevation for all of these shots. So this is a very similar attack angle, and you can see some big differences. Now, the slight color differences, those are actually due to the characteristics of the lens. So every lens has a slightly different color cast, unless you're dealing with some really expensive cinema lenses that are tuned, and typically, especially different manufacturers, you're going to get a cool, a warm, and that's pretty normal. But I'm pretty happy with these images. Let's take a look at the night stuff. So in these images, what we're seeing is we are on the right-hand side, and one of our competitors that also has a micro four thirds camera is on the left. And this is ProRes 422 from both drones, same settings. A couple things to notice. Something that we try to do is create a very natural color. And it's not overly done, but it's made so that you can tune it. This is made to tune in post. We want to give you a starting place that you can take it anywhere you want. You can see on the left, it's more of a baked in look. And once you're there, you can't really go back the other way. Another thing to pay attention is if you look in the sky, you're going to see some noise in the sky. I'd like you to compare the right and the left image. Very saturated on the left-hand side, and on the right, more of a natural look. Again, the noise pattern in the sky is very different from the left to the right if you look at the mountains. Now, we can make our image look like that, and that's what I'm going to do right here. So here's a color pass I just did. Pretty similar now. So you can get that look if that's what you desire, but that's just not what we're going to have for you out of the box. We're going to have a more neutral look, and so hopefully you can use your own creative free will to kind of tune it the way you want. And here's the last comparison. Again, notice the noise in the sky, compare that, look at those two different versions of noise patterns, and the saturation again. We can make ours look like that. You can go in post and juice up the saturation and the contrast, add a little more magenta to the image. You're going to get what you have on the left, but that's just not our goal. Our goal is to create kind of a neutral color palette for you to tune on your own. And that concludes our camera comparison and test. And thank you for watching. This is Mari with XDynamics. Have a great day.